I want to talk to you about supersonic subatomic Java. That is your Kubernetes native Java stack ready for targeting your OpenShift applications. So let's actually get started right away. This is our super opinionated, the fastest way to be productive. I want to hit start coding right here. I'm going to give it a package name. So let's say I'm building a brand new greenfield application. So if you're familiar with Java, you know what package name is, and I might want to call this thing to-do. As in, we're going to make a to-do about something. I'm going to hit REST Easy Reactive because I want a nice API, a new API that I'm going to create that actually talks to a relational database. I'm going to hit download here, and then I'm going to go directly to my terminal, and I'm going to say move from downloads, that thing I just downloaded. So downloads a to-do.zip, drop it in here. There it is. We're going to unzip to-do. And there we go. So unzip with a ZIP. There we go. Change over to that directory. Let's do tree. You can kind of see what it looks like. There's a greeting resource out of the box, meaning it has a hello world endpoint out of the box. Let's bring up our Visual Studio Code, and we can open up that endpoint and start editing it right away. But before we do that, let's kick Quarkus into the dev mode, the awesome dev mode that it has. So Maven Quarkus dev. And what that is a hot reload mode. So basically you can edit, save, refresh. Just like in Node.js land, something Node.js has always had for a long time, those web developers have benefited from, but us Java people were kind of, didn't have it for a long period of time. It's basically something where I can kind of come here and say, hello from Burr, edit, save, and then refresh. And so let's say curl localhost 8080, hello. So there we go. Edit, save, refresh. So it says hello from Burr, and I can say hello from Mary. Edit, save, refresh. So that is just a powerful concept. And it basically exposed all throughout the development experience here. Also, you notice we have our nice live reloading. You can kind of see right here. There's also a nice console. If I hit -D here, you can kind of see the dev console up right away on port 8080 Q/dev. We'll come back to that in a second. Now let's go back into our IDE and actually talk about how we finish up this application. Make it more real, not just hello world. For one thing, let me do this. I'm going to come in here and say we're going to bring up a Quarkus extension. So we're going to use the Visual Studio Code and the ability to add extensions from the Quarkus extension here in Visual Studio Code. So add extensions. And we're going to say we want the Jackson one. And so what we want is the REST Easy Reactive Jackson. There we go. We want some PostgreSQL. Let's go get that. We want some Panache. Yeah, there we go. We want some Open API. And there we go. So we're adding these extensions, which basically are updates to our POM XML. When I hit enter there, it will update the POM XML with those new dependencies. Of course, it'll do a quick build, and I can come over here and again, edit, save, refresh still applies. So it's doing a refresh right now, but edit, save, refresh, and there we go. There we go, and we've uploaded, and we've now based on those new dependencies. But what this means is I can now kind of come in here and start adding real application functionality, right? Real traditional enterprise Java. So I can say I want a to-do class, and let's use the new Panache. So extends Panache. There it is, Panache entity, that one right there. And then we can basically make sure we have all the right imports. And we can say now we want a public string title. And we want the public boolean completed, and we want the public int order, and maybe we want a public string URL. And with order, we know that this is going to come into conflict with PostgreSQL's way of calling that column. So name equal ordering, right? And so let's make sure we have the right imports there. And let's go check it out. Okay, so edit, save, again, refresh. Oh, and we also need to make it an entity. Let's get that done there. Okay, and again, we can edit, save, refresh. Now, we haven't really made much functional changes to it, so it just says hello, Mary. But let's actually add now the endpoint that interacts with that new ORM item, the to-do there. So let's go to do resource.java. Okay. And now we will do things like class, and we'll add the path we want. So path API, like that. And we would add an app get, at get. And we're going to say public list, and we're going to get a list of to-dos, and I get all. And we're going to return to-do to-do list all. There we go. All right. Semicolon. Yeah, boom. Get the right imports. Right imports. It helps if you hit the right command button. There we go. List. Okay, so we got our right imports there. Hit save. And actually the hardest part in Java is getting the imports correct. All right, so we got that. And now I can see it's /API and I can hit API. Now we can finish coding this whole application. We're not going to take you through that whole process, though that's a fun exercise by itself. You can see it just gives me an empty array there. I do have this application already kind of finished up from a coding standpoint. Let me open it up here. And again, Maven Quarkus dev. So I can go check out this application. And where did my go here? All right, so here we go. So you can see it's a little bit more complete. And I could come in here and look at the to-do resource. It has some HTML that's been added. But you can see there it is. It actually has the full CRUD operations. And much like we had before with any kind of application, we would simply come in here and curl. Where's our terminal? Curl localhost :8080 API. All right, fantastic. And I want to show you that dev console again one more time. So let's go look at the Swagger UI. You can see we can do a post here. And so I can say try it out. I can say I want to love Java. And that is completed true. Hit execute. And then I can come back here and hit the get. Try it out and execute. And you can see there it is, been added. I can come back to my terminal over here as well. Let's do a curl. And there you go. See, so it's added in the database. And this is basically part of the dev services. So the database is automatically there based on the fact that we have requested that dependency with PostgreSQL. But this gets way cooler. So let's actually do this real fast. If you think of the average Java developer, what they do next is they say maybe clean compile and package. And this will produce the fat jar. So if the way we get a fat jar out of Quarkus is we would come over here and go to our application properties. You can see it said Uber jar here. So we want that fat jar, and we need to know our production database connectivity. So you see an ampersand prod there, and we're going to basically connect to the to-do database with to-do user, to-do password. And that becomes important as we now want to deploy it and share it with our friends and family and boss. And we're going to deploy it into OpenShift. So let's go ahead and let that package, Maven clean compile package, finish running there. Should almost be ready. Almost. It's running test right now. I didn't mention the continuous testing environment, which is also part of that dev experience earlier, but it also will automatically be running test concurrently as I make changes to the test and make changes to class files. Ignoring that for now. But let's see here. There's our new fat jar just created right there. So let's bring that up here. Okay, so we have our fat jar right there. So it's 43 megabytes. So that's everything that we need as far as our application goes. And if I go back to my browser now and go to my OpenShift environment, you can see I can add things from Get. I can add things from Git. I can add a database. I can add container images. But I'm going to go to the topology view. Okay, and then I'm going to just drag and drop that thing I just created. I spent all this time working on this really cool thing. I'm going to drag and drop it over. I'm going to say it's got Quarkus in here, and we're going to basically say create. And so that's going to upload the jar file, wrap it with a container image, and of course launch that within my OpenShift environment. But while that's occurring, let's go ahead and get the database we know we're going to need because it has to connect to a Postgres, as we mentioned earlier. So I'm going to go to database. I'm going to go to Postgres here, and you can see we want Postgres. We'll just take ephemeral for now since we're just doing a quick test, and we're going to basically say to do, and that looks good. Hit create there, and now it's basically spinning up the container image for Postgres at the same time as spinning up a container image for my Quarkus application. So Postgres might finish it up a little bit faster because it doesn't have to rebuild the image like it does with a Quarkus application. And let's see if Postgres finishes up. There it goes, nice dark blue. Let's go click on that pod. So I clicked on it here, and I click on it here. And then we go to terminal. Let's go look at the terminal. And then we're going to come into the terminal and say PSQL. And we're going to say L for list, right? And see the to-do there. C, connect to to-do. Select splat from to-do. Okay, we're using our SQL skills right here in the browser. So nothing in the database right now. Let's go back and look at our topology. It looks like our application's up. Let's see. And let's go bring it up. That is the default user interface you get from a newly generated application. I'm going to ignore that for now and know that I have the to-do user interface that's right here. So let's try this. Love Java. learn Quarkus, and be awesome. Those are my to-dos I'm adding into the database. Let's go back to our PostgreSQL and let's see if they're in there, and there they are. So right there, added to the database, and I can share this URL with all my friends and family to say, look at my cool to-do application I just created. But that is our highly opinionated, highly productive Java dev experience, and how do you bring that into an OpenShift, a Kubernetes cluster with a simple drag and drop.